Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the General Hospital recap for July 8th through 12th, 2024. Couple of Port Charles pipelines. So we have a few Port Charles pipelines. One, and you're going to have to back me up on this one, I mispronounced Kate Manzi's last name as Mancini.
Oh, whoops.
Which is a local bread company in Pittsburgh.
It is. So, that's funny. I did not catch that at all.
No, I was listening to it, and see, this is why I listen, to catch my mistakes.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm like, I don't feel like that's correct.
I would have never caught it.
It wasn't. It really wasn't. All right, we're not getting into it because neither of us do talk about it, especially not on the podcast. Whatever. You guys know what I'm saying. Yes, we're near Pittsburgh. Yes, we're near what happened. We're fine. Family's fine. That's it.
Yep. But
I know that a lot of people check in on us anytime that there's something going on in Pittsburgh. So that's it.
Yes.
Then we have a lot of sad news this week. First, Doug Sheehan, who played Joe Kelly on GH, like the original Joe Kelly, died at 75 on June 29th. It was just came out this week.
Oh.
Yeah. And then you went and burst my bubble yesterday.
I'm so sorry, but I saw it and was instantly devastated. I was playing on Madeline's phone and she has alert set for I don't even know what, but it pops up and is like Richard Simmons passes away a day after his birthday. And I was like, what? What? That can't be true. That can't be true.
Yeah. We will have to do a 411 about his time on GH. I think that might be a nice little gap to fill us in for next week. So this week we are finishing Lila. Okay, I know that you have made fun of me to no end about this whole thing, but today, July 14th, 2024, is the 20th anniversary of the character passing away on the show. We are ending it this week, and we started the week that the actress passed away. So
it was meant to be.
100% meant to be.
Yes.
And also, during the time that she passed away, her very last, the episode, I think, what was it? I was looking for episodes for a photo for her episode, and I wound up watching 2 episodes. So they didn't, I forget which ones they were. Oh, it was between the first part of because they call it the Quartermaine Mansion Murders, not like Lila's will or anything like that. So that's why we couldn't really find anything. The very first episode of the Quartermaine Mansion Murders, which is the one where I believe they're really getting into Lila's will and the stuff, was the very last time that we saw our beloved Faces of the Heart opening. It was the first time that the one that we grew up on watching was shown. And then the very next day was the more modern one, the black and white, that one. The quicker tempo one, the one that's not, but that's all black and white and flashy and stuff. So part of me wonders, did they really wait for Lila to pass before they changed it? Or did that just happen to be, because it was August. It's not really.
Right. It's usually at the new season that they make changes, but that was the middle of. Aww.
Yeah. So this upcoming Thursday is going to be our last episode of Lila. It is going to be the 10th. And we're going to talk more about the things that we've seen since she passed, ways that she's been honored and tributed to. I really couldn't find any good. I did the best that I could because there's not a good comprehensive list of here's everything that we've seen of Lila since.
Right.
So there's that. And then, I just jumped between the pipeline and the 411 because that kind of just meshed together. Holly wrote in and said, I'll admit, I don't remember that this was ever solved. And it's the picture of Austin being killed.
Yeah.
I think she's correct. So I need to make sure that is on our Storylines that went nowhere. Why did I just feel like I was saying the pigs from outer space from the Muppets? Sorry. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
You don't know the pigs from outer space. Did you ever watch the Muppet Show?
I did.
Okay. I don't know how you don't remember that then.
I'm sorry.
And then we have a new submission that was done through our website. So yes, you can either email us at peer54podcast@gmail.com, or if you go to the website, it's either peer54podcast.com, or you can just go to a generalhospitalpodcast.com. Both will get you to the same place. But there is like a little submission thing, and we get that too. Email or that is always the best because this gets sent to the email. Everything else we run the risk of losing. So Melanie wrote in, love your podcast, just found you recently, and I've had so much fun walking down memory lane with your 411 episodes. And then she makes a suggestion of something that we're already working on. And we're not going to talk about. Huh?
Oh, okay.
But we're not going to talk about it. But good job, Melanie. I just gave you 2 thumbs up to Amanda. I also want to comment on your idea to bring back Miguel as part of the Blaze storyline. I love your idea. I would like to tag onto that with my own hopes of how this plays out. With the label dropping Blaze, Lois and Brook Lynn should decide to relaunch L&B.
Oh, that'd be nice.
The record label was such fun in the 90s, and would be some great dynamics of mother-daughter running the business. Ta, Melanie. Ta.
I wonder if they thought of that whenever they named Brooklyn. Like, I wonder if that was planned way back then that she could be a B also.
I highly doubt that.
It'd be pretty genius if so.
Yes, but I really don't think that they'd have added that Easter egg like 30 years ago.
Okay, well, in my mind,
think that they would. We can like that they think.
I was going to say, in my mind, that was like 5 years ago, so shut up. Yes, they did.
I don't know. I think that's it for Port Charles Pipeline. Do you have anything else?
Nope.
Okay, so let's get to Hulu headlines. Portia confronts Laura. Nina and Sasha have a heart-to-heart. Was it really a heart-to-heart? I feel like they could have used another body part.
Yeah.
Cody makes a confession. If I hear one more time how hot Drew is, I'm just going to lose it. Cody makes a confession. Sam is frustrated with Drew. Willow makes an impulsive move. Tuesday, Trina is suspicious. Curtis defends himself to Portia. Sasha witnesses something scandalous. Lois shares a secret with Olivia. Maxie finds a new mission. On Wednesday, Sonny questions Jason. Cody and Willow find common ground. Ava makes a dangerous move. Michael lets something slip to Drew. And John does some eavesdropping. On Thursday, Kristina is eager to help Blaze. Felicia visits Cody. Portia reveals her plan to Jordan. Heather's request surprises Laura. And on Friday, Laura seeks Trina's perspective. Sasha confides in Cody. Anna talks her plan through with Jason. Elizabeth shares happy news about Jake. And Curtis and Portia hash things out.
Yep.
So where do you want to start? Oh, I did have one question. Okay, this isn't... I guess I probably should have put this up in the... Kristina's protesters are against her not disclosing who she's dating and that she's dating someone who's not out, which is not illegal. Nothing that Kristina has withheld from them is being done so in an illegal manner. But no one's against her mob dad funding the center.
Right.
No one's saying anything about that.
No. Okay. No one cares where the money comes from. Just like with the hospital will take all of his money, but then whenever something bad happens, they're like, "Oh, you're a mobster.
Right.
You didn't complain when you took my money."
Nope.
So I know that the way that soaps are made is that they jump around, but I kind of wish this week it would have just been one day of each topic, so I knew to just not watch anything with Portia because, oh my God, I am so tired of her harping on the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. I get it. I would also be enraged if someone that tried to hurt one of my children was given the possibility that perhaps they would be let out of prison when I feel that they shouldn't have been. But how many people does she have to yell out about it? And in the most inappropriate places. You are not a guest in someone else's home for a 4th of July party and walk up to the mayor and start yelling at her about how she's letting a convict out and this is wrong and she's going to have you removed from office and blah, 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 blah.
That, and also every single person from Laura to Jordan to Curtis, each of which we will individually address, individually told her, we are asking questions.
Right. Laura did not file anything. She's just collecting information.
Yep. Every single one. So the Quartermaines were having their, I guess now, annual barbecue for the 4th of July, watching Drew announce his candidacy on TV. Congressman McConkey's like, I've loved serving you guys, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to run again, but I do promote Drew Quartermaine.
Mm-hmm.
Felicia and Georgie came to the Quartermaine mansion, and Mac and Portia were already there watching it. Oh, poor Georgie. She's like, I'm not going to go swimming. There's too many boys. Girl,
that was cute.
It's the truth, though. I mean, how many summers did I not swim because of boys? But I guess Tracy didn't know that Drew was announcing, let alone changing his name.
I guess not.
And then Ned came in, which we haven't seen Ned for a while, so yay. But he and Laura he's like, I don't miss being the mayor. I wouldn't want to have to be putting up with all this Heather Weber stuff. And then Mac's like, what Heather Weber stuff? And so they all have to fill him in. And that's when Portia overhears. So, okay, still 100,000% agree that everything that she said was like inappropriate. They did start the conversation about Heather, though. Like, if Heather had not been mentioned and out of nowhere, she just came over and started yelling at Laura. But Laura did even try to not mention what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, okay, real quick here. There's a good chance that Heather might not be responsible, quote unquote, responsible due to, this poisoning. And even Max said the world's full of toxins. People don't go around, like not everyone goes around acting all crazy and everything. So like basically the 4 of them, or 5. Jordan was there too.
Mm-hmm.
Ned. Olivia was saying about how much she does not miss Ned being mayor. Laura was there. Oh, I guess maybe Tracy wasn't like right there. So it was like and Mac. Oh, Mac telling Laura that he was sorry about Spencer.
Yes.
Like that's, you that Mac wasn't here for that, but at the same time, you kind of forget that Mac wasn't here for this.
Yeah.
But that's when Ned said that he would rather handle the Quartermaines always backstabbing each other and, their ways than dealing with the Heather thing. And that's when Mac was like, wait, what are you talking about? But then, yeah, Portia comes over, starts yelling at Laura, and Portia is straight attacking Laura, and
right.
she's like, my problem is you're not even thinking about your citizens and everything.
Right. And she's like, you're doing this because it's your family member. Like, what kind of mayor do we need that only cares about getting their family members free, but isn't caring about its constituents, blah, 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 blah. And Laura's like, what are you talking about? I care about everyone. That's why I'm collecting information and trying to figure out where we should go from here. I didn't just like ask for a judge to release her or something. I'm trying to figure out where this all comes from. And you worked on her medical case. So just like it's your job to do what you need to do as a doctor, it's my job as the mayor to do what I can do for my people.
I think that was probably my favorite thing. That was a nice little thread throughout. Was Laura said, "You're part of the team that," like, and Portia advocated for Heather to get an answer. She was part of that team that made that decision. And Portia's like, "Well, that was my job," but isn't accepting of Laura having to also do hers. And she's like, I also have to live up to an oath to protect everyone, because the thing is that if Laura were not at least looking into it, there's going to be other people who you can't pick and choose who gets to have their case looked at once new evidence comes to light.
Right.
You can't be like, no, sorry, you tried, your daughter basically tried to kill my grandson and his girlfriend, so therefore I'm not going to. No.
Right. And that's what Jordan said to her. Jordan was like, the laws don't only apply to the people that you don't like. And the changes in laws don't only apply to the people that you do like. So if Heather was under the influence of this poisoning and that affected her judgment, then she deserves to have another trial with all the information present. Not even saying that she would be let off then. Like, they may still find her completely guilty. She's just, entitled to another hearing with all the information.
Right. Well, and that's the thing too that Laura kept saying. She's like, it's not even that this is actually happening. It's if it's reopened, she gets this opportunity to get not a second chance, but to have a fair trial.
Right.
And Portia is obsessed with getting her removed from office. Oh, my favorite was when Liz, her bestie, walked in. And Liz said hi. Liz said hi. And Portia lost it on her. She's like, well, of course you're going to have her back because you have the same last name. What just happened there?
Right. Liz is like, what are you even talking about? I came in to say hi because I just showed up for the party. I don't know what you're doing.
Yep. But Portia tells her that if she continues her campaign to free Heather, she's going to have a public discussion about her place in office. But then we saw Liz and Laura talking, and Liz is like, listen, people gave me a lot of crap when I stood by Franco, and he became such a loving husband and father to those boys without the brain tumor. He stopped being a murderer. I guess it's genetically possible that this could also happen with Heather.
Yes.
But she even said, like, it's supposed to be justice for all. And I know we talk about it all the time, but Laura and Liz are like the best daughter and mother-in-law, because she's like, I'm so proud of you. And Liz tells Laura that her grandkids are proud of her. And she is, but also she's proud of her, but also her grandkids. So that was sweet. But then Portia goes and tears Curtis away from his best friend announcing his candidacy and is like, I need to leave because I'm being a jerk.
Right. And then says
everybody else about it.
Right. Says to Drew, I'll give you my vote if you promise that Laura isn't going to be able to get Heather out. And he's like, what are you talking about?
Also, one vote. Yes. Okay. Everybody's vote matters. But Drew's probably like, I'm not going to do that. Thanks.
Yeah, right.
And anyone who supports Laura is an enemy, including Drew and the Quartermaines. So basically now she's telling Curtis that she can't be friends, or he can't be friends with them. Curtis reminded her, like, so that's not our decision.
Right. And then she gets all mad at Curtis and is like, I'm concerned about our daughter and you don't care. And he's like, that's not what I said at all.
I guess, so we can just jump to the next day then with Portia, because we can go back to everything else too. But the next day, Portia went to see Jordan, and I think she was thinking Jordan was going to have her back, because she's like, I want a petition to recall Laura and I want to get you in office. And Jordan's like, so I kind of told Laura, it might not be the best move for you to do this, but she supports the reason why she is, and that she's doing what she is legally obligated to do. And Jordan tells her, from the police side, when evidence comes up, like, you have to, it's not just an act of convenience.
Right.
It's sometimes, what did she say? She said something about, like, sometimes evidence comes up at the most inconvenient time, but I can't remember what that was, because that was already after she basically put Portia, I felt like she put Portia in her place, but Portia wasn't listening. Because again, Portia's like, don't you care about the community, and everyone's going to be in danger when this happens? And Jordan again said she's just asking questions, like nothing's even happening right now. She's looking into the information.
Right.
Oh, and Portia told her she doesn't sound like the former police commissioner. She sounds like a politician. That's when Jordan said the thing about the evidence, I think.
Right.
Because it was tying into the police thing. And because that was it. Because I guess then this kind of, was Portia trying to play that if this new evidence comes to light, then it kind of undoes what Jordan and her team did to capture the hook killer. Yeah. So I think that she was trying to bait Jordan into, listen, if you don't want your record questioned, and it's like, no, that's where the evidence thing came in. Yes, because she's like, okay, but with the evidence that we had at the time,
I did everything right.
Yeah. Exactly. There's nothing dirty about her investigation. It's, now we have this information.
Right. We have to use it to see what's going on.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know if it was the next day or later on that day, is whenever she finally made it home to Curtis, and she's like nasty with him all over again. And she's like, I'm going to start a petition and have the votes recounted and get her kicked out. And he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure someone already tried to do that and it didn't work. So you're not getting Laura kicked out. And then he tells her, I went to see Heather And she flips out
Hold
on
it. My
that.
favorite is she's like, so we're just not telling each other things now. And it's like, oh, you mean you want to get back to the fact you didn't tell me I had a daughter for 20 years? Okay.
Right.
I'll tell you what I didn't do 2 days ago.
Yes, exactly. And
Sorry. I still agree. I agree at the core of that. I do agree with the core of her thing, but 2 days, 20 years, big difference.
I don't know how you get past the not telling someone they have a kid for 20 years and continue being together and then not say that whenever they call you out on lying. Because he was like, I went to see Heather and I wasn't sure how you were going to take it. It wasn't that I planned on not telling you. I just wasn't announcing it. But anyway, I talked to Heather and Heather actually said she does not want Laura to pursue this. She feels that she's where she should be. And this is not something she is interested in. She would tell the judge or whoever asked. She's right where she belongs. And then she flips it the other way and is like, well, I don't know that I believe Heather. And even if I do, I don't know that Laura is going to follow her rule, like what she wants done, blah, 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 blah. She might fight for her anyway. And it's like, you're not going to be happy no matter what. Like the woman you were so concerned about flat out said, I do not want out of prison. I feel like I'm where I belong. And no one has filed any paperwork to do anything otherwise. And you're still going to sit here and complain.
Well, and then Portia starts playing the woe is me. Was it all my fault because I didn't pay attention because I was too kind about everything? So did I just not see? Maybe if she had listened more to her paranoia, Spencer would not have died. You know, Trina would not have been kidnapped and all this stuff. And Curtis just kind of like glazed by it. And he's like, he didn't give in to that. He was just like, no, the deal is that, you know, he can see what Laura is talking about. And he even specified from a legal standpoint, and he had to see it for himself because he maturely went and talked to Laura. She said, this is what I'm seeing. He said, I should go see for myself this information. He went and did it. And then he tells Portia, like, she wasn't being cruel and she was actually hurt by the things that she did. And like you said, you know, she told me she doesn't want Laura to reopen the case. And then, and the whole reason that they were even having this lovely dinner is because Trina had gone over so they could celebrate the day that he had been shot.
Right. Because it had been a whole year that they survived and he overcame everything.
And Aunt Stella suggested that they celebrate it, not just remember it.
Yes.
But so then, I'm sorry. I've been in some pretty heated discussions with my husband about certain things. Then she just immediately gets up and they start dancing.
Right. She's like,
if I felt that strongly about something.
Yeah.
Right. Like if I felt that strongly about something, I'd be like, listen, we can dance tomorrow, but I'm going to need to go, first of all, recover from what you just told me that you did, you know, or like, let's at least have dinner first and then we can dance. You know, yes. I'm not feeling quite romantic yet. It's, I don't know.
I really don't like Portia. I feel like her character is just there to complain all the time. She's
very self-entitled. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, and I think that was really it though with her for the week. So yay.
Right. Yes. But like I said,
over and done with.
I wish it would have just been one, like, this is what we're going to talk about all day Thursday. And I'd have been like, okay, I'm not watching Thursday because I can already tell you what was said even without the specifics. It's like they have to have some woman complaining all week. It used to be Nina, and now it's all Portia.
Why aren't the guys ever complaining all week?
I don't know.
I know guys that do.
Yes, me too.
Where to go from there? I guess we should go back to the Quartermaines. Nina showed up because she invited. Did Willow invite her?
No, because of Drew. Because she went to
That's right.
the conference for Drew, and then everybody went back to the house. So she just went back to the house.
And then the congressman gave her the kudos for, well, he wouldn't be doing this without her. And then Tracy's like, what, you couldn't get him in trouble with the FCC, so now you're going to get him in politics? That way you can just do him dirty then? Right. So they all start talking about at home, like Laura's like, well, this Chelsea Grimes is a formidable candidate, but she has like a horrible following. And Willow's like, she exposes people's fears, and Drew just appeals to their better nature.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they all walked in and started schmoozing. And then Tracy was like, here's the deal. Yeah, we've done like little mayor things and, done some small things. Like this is a national stage now that we're going to be putting the Quartermaines up to. But she was really, really sweet with Drew. I think that Alan would be proud of her too.
Yes.
Because she was like, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. And he's like, and I think that he thought that she was giving him a hard time.
Yeah.
And he introduced himself as Drew Quartermaine. And she said something about how Edward would probably be so happy, that somebody in the family's doing this. And, but that more importantly, Alan would be proud of him. So, but then they talked about Monica.
Yes, that was sweet.
There's been a couple mentions of Monica this week because they talked about how she's been laid up. Oh gosh, Tracy and the congressman though. I love how they're writing Tracy now. Like she's caring, but then she still has her little, she's like, well, we'll have to go out to dinner. I'll have to have you guys over for dinner. He's like, if I'm not dead, she's like, well, then I'll cater your wake. Ha ha ha.
Madeline was highly offended by that. She was in here as I was watching. And he was like, he said that thing about it, unless I'm 6 feet under. And she was like, oh my God, why did he just say it like that and laugh? And I was like, well, he's sick. And that's kind of the only way to deal with it is, part of life is death. So, haha.
You deal with trauma through humor.
Yeah. And she was like, that was really morbid. And I was like, I'm sorry that GH offended you.
And then, Sam was there. Oh, they're also changing Scout's name.
Yeah, I did not like that.
Because Kane was a temporary holder that the state gave him. Okay, that's fine. Then why didn't you choose your own last name when you realized that?
Or why didn't you give Scout the last name McCall?
Right. And she's so excited about it. And I'm so confused about all of that. I know that we get on Sam about some of the things that she says lately, but this week when she said, I seriously, how did I pick Jason and Drew when neither one of them want to actually be there for their children? Mm-hmm. Jason's doing an exact opposite. Yes, both of them had 2-year stints away when we thought they were dead. But yes, Jason in the past has stayed away from the children as a protection to them. And he's trying to make up for it now that they're older. Right. And that they're pursuing a relationship with him, and not like he didn't want one with them, but he definitely thought it was in their best interest that he not when they were younger. Yep. But that now Drew's just going to move to DC, forget, coaching her swim team, forget all this stuff. Like they're really using Scout though. Right. I'm not liking that.
Well, it was Ned, right? That was like, well, he'll have the option of using a private jet. Like, why can't he come back here? Or was that Dante?
It was Dante because he's like, listen, they might not be around, but I'm not biologically their dad, but I feel like we're doing a pretty good thing at this parenting thing together. And I agree. Okay. Yeah. Other than the weirdness of their whole connections.
Yeah.
Like he is there for the kids, and that really is what matters the most. And he doesn't get in the way of their dads.
Right.
So I don't know. I did like Sam and Dante this week when they were discussing when he was calming her concerns, because she's like, great, I just had to get finished explaining to Danny about his dad coming back after he was dead, right after I just had to explain to Scout how her dad came back from the dead. And now Drew is going to be basically living in DC. Right. Possibly. And how she's going to have to be like, yeah, sorry, your dad can't be here for your swim meet now because fundraisers. But don't worry, Scout's going to go on the road for the campaign. Yep. So does that mean Sam's going to go on the road for the campaign too? Because Drew cannot possibly be, he's not a primary parent right now.
I'm sure just one of the Quartermaine nannies will go along.
Perfect. Okay. Yes, that's right. He has changed his name. Now he gets the nanny. Check.
Yes. But he's not really concerned about Scout. He's concerned about how much he's going to miss Willow.
All right. We unfortunately called that one, and I'm disgusted with ourselves. Yep. You can go over it.
Why make me do it? The first thing that came to my mind was whenever they were like trying to explain it away or whatever, I was like, maybe Willow just really likes fireworks like I do. And he was the closest in proximity. But yeah, they kissed and Sasha saw them. And then they pulled away and had to sit there and talk for the next 20 minutes about how maybe if they had met under different circumstances,
That was
things
the
would be
weirdest part.
different. And
Hold on, Cookie. I hear you. I hear you. Hold on. There you go. Okay.
oh, is she leaving? She doesn't want to hear it either.
She doesn't.
She's like, I knew this was coming. I don't want to hear about it. It just
Sorry. Yeah.
I just Drew is supposed to be this upstanding, wonderful guy, right? That's how we saw him with Carly. He backed out of that relationship because that was what he felt was best for her. He does all these other wonderful things, and he's supposed to be such a great guy. I don't care how attracted I thought that I was to someone. If I had already at any point in time, but especially in the past few days, hooked up with their parent, I would not be kissing them. Like, I'm sorry, it just has to go against some type of moral code.
Well, and also he had been sleeping with her husband's mom.
Yes.
Not too long ago.
Correct.
So he has slept with both of their moms and then decides to make out with one of the daughters.
Yeah.
And the worst was the fact that they said, if, like you said, under different circumstances, it wasn't, the whole thing was bad. But if they had just left it at, what the heck was that? That was stupid,
Right. I got caught up in the moment, the alcohol, the fireworks, like, really, not that that's an honest excuse, but in that point in time, that's what they would have been best saying. Like, it was just so romantic with the fireworks, and I'm emotional because I know you're leaving, and I'm sad.
The fireworks, Amanda.
Yes, I'm going to blame the fireworks. Fireworks make you do things you would not normally do. No, that between the few drinks and the emotion of him leaving, because they have been such good friends, you could say, oops, and then just let it go. And instead, they had to rehash it that day, the next day at breakfast, blah, blah, blah. It's like, we're going to just sit here and talk about it. Number one, it's supposed to be a secret, so you probably shouldn't sit in the Quartermaine kitchen and have a discussion about it.
Well, she starts blaming herself about all of it. I mean, granted, neither of them should have been sitting the way that they were together on the couch.
Yep.
But also, he told her that she would win a beauty contest in scrubs.
Yeah.
That's different than just her. She didn't say anything about the fact that she didn't think she looked pretty in her scrubs. She said she's enjoying the fact she does not have to wear them anymore.
Right.
It's not like she's like, oh, I'm so good. Oh, I mean, she did say something about the perfume and how Wiley said that she looks so pretty, but that's your kid being cute versus you're saying, oh, I'm just so glad I don't have to wear scrubs anymore. Because I mean, there's a reason why they wear scrubs. They're supposed to get gross and whatever. It's same thing as like when I stopped working at restaurants. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm coming home not smelling like ranch and coffee and whatever else I dripped on myself all day or spilled on myself or the sweat or the fried foods, whatever it was. I never said I didn't look cute in my outfit. I just said, I'm so glad that I don't have to stink at the end of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he just went for it.
Yep. I just don't understand why it has to be a thing. Like, okay, we already said if it was a different time and place, but it's not. And she's already said that she's very much in love with her husband. And
his nephew. Oh, that was funny though, when he said something about, the uncle nephew thing kind of makes it weird.
Yeah. Right.
That was, and then she like looked at him like, oh my God. He's like, I was trying to joke around. Sorry.
So I just feel like normal people would let it go and wouldn't keep talking about it and wouldn't keep harping on it. And instead they see each other and they continue talking about it. Michael comes in and she's like, oh, I'll let you guys talk. This seems like this is just too interesting of a conversation for me. Ha ha ha. And then goes out on
little girl self.
Right. And then goes out on the porch and is like, whatever. I just, why are we doing this now? And then at the same time,
Drew is really, because I know that not all politicians cheat, but that this is going to wind up coming up somehow to ruin his campaign. And it's, I mean, I don't know how, because as of right, okay, Sasha and kind of Cody, I don't see Cody telling anyone.
No.
So, whether it's.
Well, it'll be that Sasha feels that she has to tell Nina, and then Nina really will blow it all up, whether she means to or not. And then Michael will get to say, ha, I told you that you should stay away from Willow because now you just blew up Willow's life and the kids' lives and whatever. And you should have stayed away from Drew because you really did try to get him put in prison and now you blew up his political everything.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that we kind of alluded to, but we didn't talk about. So when Sasha and Olivia were in the kitchen preparing everything for the picnic, they're watching the announcement and both talk about how hot Drew looks. And Sasha then later, when Nina comes into the kitchen for a cookie after, trying to, I will say, Nina didn't deserve to be yelled at the way that she was when she came into the Quartermaines. She wasn't even asked, what are you doing here? Especially after the congressman just said, she's why Drew is running.
Right.
You would think that, give her nasty looks, mumble under your breath to the person next to you. But Tracy should have cornered her privately about that,
yes.
Not chastise in front of the entire. But
Absolutely.
Anyway, Nina went to the kitchen to get a cookie to, soften her feelings. I understand that. And Sasha's in there and Sasha kind of hints at, so I feel like there's something going on there. And Nina thought that Drew had said something to her and she's like, no, but now I know, and so they talked. And then Sasha goes on to how hot Drew's body is.
Yeah, I just feel like the whole thing is weird. I know that they are not mother-daughter, but for a minute there, Nina thought that she was her mother. And so there is still that age gap there that obviously she could be her daughter. Do you walk around talking?
Hey, listen,
to people?
I have a lot of friends that could be my mom. I have a lot of friends that are older than my mom.
But not that you thought were your mom, or not that you pretended were your mom.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah.
Like, that's what makes it weird. I'm not saying, we all have friends that are younger than us and older than us because we don't really fit anywhere with the ages that we had kids and stuff. So
I don't fit in with the younger ones.
Yeah. So we have friends that are different ages in comparison to what our parents or siblings are or whatever. I just can't imagine saying to someone who I thought was my child, like, here, let me give you the scoop on I'm hooking up with so-and-so. And oh my God, don't you think their body's so hot? And hearing them say, oh yeah, I don't know.
I know.
Just weird. Just very weird. So
it's just, I don't understand it. Cause then poor Sasha, she's like, I am glad that she wound up being able to get it out to Cody because originally, we're going to have to get there. But originally Sasha went to tell Cody, something else interrupted, but then she was able to go back and tell him. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, are you sure?
I love that. Are you sure it was them? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty darn sure. But so I guess back to, they did so much at the picnic and it was like Monday and Tuesday really went together.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really separate them out just because they really did. It was all the 4th of July was Monday and Tuesday.
Right.
So, and we'll just stick with Cody real quick. Cody was showing James how to clean the horse's hooves and or was showing him the tool, how to use it. And he asked him if his dad or his brother taught him how to do it. And Cody's like, I don't have one. And James is like, I don't either. I just have sisters. You're the closest thing I have to a brother. And then Cody's like, oh, that's scary. And he's like, you don't have to be if you don't want to. He's like, no, I've never been a brother before. So that's just kind of, I don't want to disappoint you, basically, is what he was saying to him. Then Dante and Sam come in with 2 plates, one which has only chips on it, and the other one has 2 hot dogs on it. Why there's not a plate with chips and hot dog and a plate with chips and hot dog, I don't know. The things I noticed, because I'm like, so who's only eating chips and who's only eating 2 hot dogs? But then later we see Cody and James each having a plate with whatever. So Dante tells James that Cody's been the best brother. He grew up with him. He taught Cody how to pick up girls, and Cody basically taught him how to get into mischief, and, he's the best kind of brother you can have because he's the kind that you chose. And that means that you really want to be their family, not just that you happen to be their family.
I felt like they worded that weird though, because they were like, James was like, is it okay to have a brother that doesn't have the same last name as you? And that's whenever they were like, oh, those are the best kind of brothers. And I was like, wait.
Right.
That doesn't sound like you have like 20 half brothers, which there's nothing wrong with, but I'm not sure I would spin it like those are the best brothers.
Right. Well, because I mean, Sam could be like, well, I don't have the same last name of any of my sisters. And Dante could say, I don't have the same last name as any of my siblings.
Right.
James doesn't have the same last name as his sisters.
Right.
So I got where he was getting to with it.
Yes.
But,
yeah.
And you're right.
Together,
I understood what they were saying, but it was like, are they really the best? Just
right. I feel like if he would have said, can you really have brothers from not the same parents? Then it would have been like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. But just the way that they worded that, I was like,
like, honey, go through poor Charles. No one has the same last name.
Right, exactly. And I don't know that makes you best brothers, though, because there's lots that don't have the same last name. That's not the best brother.
Right. I mean, and I do understand what Dante was saying is like the best family you can have is the one that you make.
Yes.
Hold on a second. There's a noise happening that I don't know what's happening.
That's me.
Oh, what are you doing?
4 flies.
Oh, JD is murdering flies in my living room.
Oh.
And I came out of nowhere.
Okay. Well, all right. As long as nothing's breaking.
I couldn't hear him, so.
Well, no, it was just like I heard like and I'm like, I couldn't tell if someone at my front door,
yeah,
whatever. No, JD's just murdering flies.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, I mean, I understood that, like you said, it was weird. It's like, what would you say though? Really, it's great when you're able to add people to your family. I think that's the thing too. It's not like they said you bring people into your family that might not be blood relatives or whatever. They might be really good friends or whatever, but they like, I'm part of your family.
Yes.
But exactly. And it's, stuff like that. But, sometimes it's just you get to add to your family through people that become friends and just become so close that they're like brothers. But then James asked him if he'd be his brother and he said yes. And then they spit and they shook on it. Just gross, but so cute.
Yes. Even James was like, yeah, Georgie would never do this.
Yep. And then Maxie and Mac, Georgie and Mac, came to find James because it was time for the fireworks. And James is like, are you going to come with me, brother? And he's like, I can't. I have to stay here with the horses to make sure. I love that they brought that detail in too. Yeah. That he had to stay with the horses to make sure that they were okay because the fireworks could startle them. It made perfect sense. And he's like, but here's my phone. Why don't you take a video of it and then we'll watch them together later. So Mac decides to stay behind and have a beer with Cody and they talk. And, Mac's saying about how, he's come back and James is just like enamored with Cody and he loves everything that he's been doing with him with the writing. And, James just talks about him nonstop, basically. And he kind of apologizes. He's like, no, I love James. Like, he's great. No problem at all. It's really not. And then fireworks start. He and Mac walk out onto the little patio area, the doorway, the door front. And Mac apparently has never seen raining fireworks, which I feel like those are the Weeping Willows, right?
Yes. Okay. That's what I thought too. I was like, those have been around for a while, but okay.
Like, those are my favorite ones. Those are the ones that I've got. Like, those are my favorite because they sparkle the whole way down. But okay. And then Cody just becomes so overwhelmed with everything that he just blurts out to Mac that he's his son.
Yep. Mac's like, what did you say? He's like, I'm your son. And then Mac is mad. I feel like they were pushing that too much too. Like, okay, Mac's mad. Of course Mac's mad. Like, he's been lying for over a year now. And Mac wanted him to be his son and wanted that experience. And yes, Maxie and Felicia always are trying to, come up with a scheme to get things to go their way. But I wouldn't expect Mac to forgive him in 24 hours either. Like, it needs some time to process and everything. I didn't hear Mac say, Maxie, you're not allowed to hang out with him, or James has to stop his riding lessons, or anything like that.
He didn't say that specifically, but he very clearly did say that he would not be able to hurt his family.
Right.
But I do feel like he is going to be taking up a little bit more of a protecting everybody from Cody in a way.
I mean, again, he may say that, but if he didn't forbid them, then they can continue. Not that they would have to list him forbidding anyway, but they can continue their relationship. Like, I don't feel like anyone would ask James to give up his riding lessons. That's his favoriteest thing in the whole world. So,
Yeah.
Mac, give Mac a week. Can he have like 72 hours? Like, why are we...
Give him 24 hours to just be alone and process things.
Right. And we all know that as much as Mac loves Felicia and Maxie, he does not appreciate their shenanigans. And so the whole, I left my phone at Cody's and then Cody brings it back. Yeah, you could just know that was going to turn out badly. They were not going to like, here, stay for dinner. Now we're best buds, son. It was not going to happen.
Well, and I think the thing that Mac is not articulating well is how much he's just really hurt. Like he said it several times. He found this out a year ago, and he decided a year ago he didn't want to be my son when I was trying to have some kind of relationship with him, even before we knew who quote wasn't. And even after he found out that he wasn't, he was like, well, you know what? You're still Dominique's son. So I'm still going to try to have some kind of a relationship with you. But Cody did even tell him, I thought that I had a right to the Ice Princess necklace. And so I chose money and I've regretted it. And, but he talked about how much like he loves Maxie and the kids and everything. And Mac kind of challenges him on that. And he's like, how can you seriously love them when you've lied to them for this whole past year about who you are, especially to the kids, Yeah. You shouldn't lie to anybody, but especially the kiddos. Like James now thinks that they're brothers and it's actually his uncle.
Right.
But then Maxie comes looking for James's gloves and runs into Cody. And this was all before the shenanigans. And Cody says he needs to stop giving him lessons because of Mac. And she's like, what the heck are you talking about? And she said something. Oh, she said, my Mac. And he's like, actually, our Mac. And then told her what he did. And she's like, okay, so here's the deal. I've done a heck of a lot of bad things to him.
Yep.
But he's legit the best dad ever. And then she starts going back and forth between, like the kids. Well, I guess your niece and nephew, and like all this stuff. And she's like, listen, she's like, he will get over this. He has forgiven me more times than anything. And Mac did. Oh, but then Cody said he was going to leave. And that's the one thing that both Maxie and Felicia have been trying to get through to Cody is don't leave, don't run, don't give up on him because he's going to be stubborn for the next maybe a month or so, but it's going to be worth it. Oh, and then she dropped something about, she's like, oh, and just remind me to tell you the time I thought that, or I pretended to be pregnant and I wasn't, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, what? And she's like, nothing, we'll talk about it later. This is about you. Maxie's just like really working on Cody. But then I guess at the same time is when Felicia comes home to Mac and he tells her, and that's when like he really starts to talk about how hurt he is by everything. And then, Felicia pretended to leave her phone lose her phone so that way she and Maxie could get caught up. Why they couldn't have just both left the house real quick to have a cup of coffee, I don't know.
Right.
But I guess that wouldn't have brought Cody back to the house with Felicia's phone. So never mind, just answered my own question.
They could have just fibbed and said that Maxie needed Cody for something and he would have come over.
Yeah. But then Maxie and Felicia both spoke with Cody privately, and Felicia's like, here's what I'm not understanding. Oh, wait. Had Sasha gone to... So then Sasha had gone to see Cody in the stables, and then that's when Cody blurted out, I told Mac that I was his son, and he hates me now. And she's like, okay, so my thing will wait until tomorrow.
Right.
And she told him not to run away. But then when did she go talk to...
She went to talk to Felicia and Maxie before Felicia went to talk to Cody because she was like, I just feel like I need to tell you my part in this, because Felicia was questioning, as was Mac, how do we know that he's telling the truth now if he wasn't telling the truth before, especially since Felicia had done the second test that she didn't think that he knew about. And so Sasha was like, I actually did notice that you were taking hair from the comb at the Home and Heart show, so I swapped it. That was my hair that you tested, and that's why it came back with a 0% chance. And then they were like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And so now we
absolutely said, like, you need to be mad at me. If you're mad at Cody, you need to be mad at me.
Mm-hmm.
at least for her place in that. And then both she and Maxie, Felicia and Maxie, comforted Sasha and were like, yeah, no, it's okay. That stinks that you did that, but we kind of get it. But
right. I like
we
that.
also understand.
Yeah, I like that she was like, we both forgive you. And Felicia kind of made a face like, how are you forgiving her for me? And she was like, oh, please, Mom, you're a softie compared to me. If I'm forgiving her, you are.
Right, exactly. And then
that was when then Felicia went to talk to him and was like, look, I heard, I know, and don't run away. You guys just need time to work it out. Ooh, excuse me, but that's what I'm saying is they both are saying the right thing. Like, you guys just need time, but then they're trying to force them into a right now situation. And it's like, can you give them just a little bit of time for Mac to process his feelings and like they'll come together? Kind of like they didn't talk whenever the paternity test first came back.
Right.
Because it was awkward. And then they ended up being friends because he was around. And so it will happen. It just doesn't need to happen in a day.
Well, and Maxie tries to reason with Mac about, listen, like, I know, but you haven't been here the past couple months. Cody's really changed. You know, it's not that he's changed. It's, you could tell that he was being so standoffish. And Cody said to Felicia about how he feels like he's been a part of their family, but like looking through the window, you know, like right. He's not really, he's been there, but not like really been there. And Maxie asked Mac, like, how could you forgive me for all the things that I did? I think part of it too is a lot of the stuff that Maxie did, a lot of that was in high school, early 20s. So yes. Early 20s, I still don't feel like you get as big of a pass, but especially high school, like you're just doing stupid stuff most of the time. But he said he knew her heart.
Mm-hmm.
And all he's known of Cody is lies and deceit and misdirection, you know? So
right.
How can he trust any of that? I did like before all that stuff came out that Max started to tell Cody about all this bad stuff that he and Robert got into when they were growing up. Like I liked that. And then Felicia mentioned it too. So I don't know. I mean, I think they're going to come together. I do.
Yeah, they absolutely are. It, like I said, I just didn't like the way that they were rushing all that.
I'm just glad that it's breaking my heart because even Felicia said, you know, Mac never really my husband, like my kids he knew that they were just as much a part of our relationship. There was no promise of additional babies. You know, It was, nope, me and my bonus pack have to be enough. And yeah, there were times that like tossed around for a second and then we're like, no, we're good. I don't think that, well, better not be having any love children coming out of no. We better not be having any children suddenly pop up coming to say that they're his. But like, when Felicia was saying about how like he just thought that part was over, you know, like it was just never going to happen. And he was fine with it. But then to find out, oh my gosh, I do have a son. Like what? I do like the fact too that Maxie is definitely so confident in her relationship with Mac that she knows that he's not going to love her any less or anything like that because she's not bio and Cody is. But I mean, I guess that's like a whole other level of stuff that Mac's kind of going through that we haven't really seen before. You know, he didn't think that he was going to have biological ties to a child. And then here we are. And then he just lied to me because he got to know me for a minute and then decided that he didn't want to be my son. I get it. I get where his.
Right. And it probably affects him as much as it's not Cody's fault to realize that like he and Dominique had this romance and she never told him that he had a child. And like that kind of rewrites your history. If you think you have a relationship with someone and then find out that they didn't tell you this super important thing that changes everything about your life. Yeah. It's a lot to grapple with.
Yeah. So maybe Mac will just go talk to Kevin and have a couple of beers and they'll be fine.
Yes, that'd be good.
But I don't know. I do like that. I don't know. I still love Mac. I love that we're seeing him not just be the pushover that we've kind of seen him be the past couple of years. I mean, he killed Ryan, so that was great. But then we've kind of just seen him like playing in the back. Your Ryan's not standing there right now, is he?
No.
Said that because you looked up for a second. I'm like, not your Ryan.
No.
So then where do we go from there? What else happened on Monday and Tuesday?
I don't know if it was Monday or Tuesday, but it's part of the whole picnic thing. So it should have been. They just showed more of Trina and Gio kind of getting getting closer. He came home from playing at the concert, and she was like, oh, here, grab a beer. There's more fireworks that we'll see in about an hour. And then he explained how the 4th of July really did mean something to him because his mom was not a U.S. citizen originally, and what it meant to her to become a citizen. And Trina was like, oh, I love that it's not just about a picnic and fireworks. That's so sweet. And so just like, seeing them.
I understand that he sees Sonny as an uncle, but he's been here for long enough that he needs to understand Sonny is not invited to every single person's house in the
right.
Like,
my Uncle Sonny wasn't here. No, him and the Quartermaines have beef. Like, no, it's not happening. Yeah. And I thought it was weird. It was a fine conversation, but I thought it was weird that Trina's like, well, why does Michael get to decide that we get to stay here? And they like broke it down that Michael was in charge of household like business stuff, but that Olivia was in charge of like the staff and the like wifely things.
Well, also, you hit the nail on the head. That was my exact, because Michael's a businessman. So therefore, just because you're good at business doesn't mean you're a good landlord.
Right.
Like, that's not how that works. It was, because Trina even said, but it's Monica's house, but Tracy's the next senior Quartermaine. And then after that, it would be Ned. And she doesn't even know about Dylan. But then I guess it would be Michael. And she's like, well, she's Michael's grandson.
Right.
And then they get into Michael oversees the household. But I'm also confused by that because I feel like, what exactly is he managing? How many rentals do they have?
Right, exactly.
When did Quartermaine property management become a thing?
Yeah, I don't know. And as far as Olivia handling like the household or whatever, that would be all the staff and who gets to stay there and who doesn't. Like Sasha now has a room in the house and Cody's at the stables, blah, blah, blah. Like, what?
Right. Is Olivia just hiring people without giving them a place to stay?
Yeah.
Because Michael didn't say so. I mean, did Michael not know that Sasha was going to be staying there? Because Olivia hired her and then and Michael didn't sign off on it. The man didn't sign off on it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it felt, like I said, it was just a weird conversation. Like, why would Trina even ask that? Your brother is a Quartermaine living on the Quartermaine estates and told us that we can pay rent to also live on the Quartermaine estates. Sounds legit to me. I don't need to ask any other questions.
We also could have just left it at, well, Michael talked to Monica and she said, okay, because she loves her grandson.
Right.
Like, simple. If I owned property that I had a vacant room and one of my kids came to me and said, hey, Mom, so-and-so needs a place to rent. Would you mind if they rented this? I'd be like, okay.
Right.
Not necessarily always, but yeah.
I mean, if it was their half sibling, I would assume that you would say sure.
Right. Yeah.
So Michael's half sibling is saying, can I please live here? Yeah. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
So.
And then I guess, we kind of touched on it a lot, but like Michael and Nina really broke down that they have to grow up and get along for the sake of business because Drew's not going to be there all the time to be their go-between.
Right. Which is why I think it has to be Nina that ends up ratting out the fact that Willow and Drew kissed. Whether she means to or not, she's going to find out and then flip out and it's going to all domino effect.
Yeah.
So.
The weirdest thing was right before Drew and Nina kissed, they were talking about Willow and how excited Nina was about the progress that she was making with her daughter. Yeah, right. And Drew found that very attractive.
Right. Like, I'm making progress with your daughter too.
Oh.
So gross.
It is. Can we just have one mother-daughter couple that does not hook up with the same man?
Right. And once you threw in the fact that he hooked up with Carly, like I knew that, but I didn't think of the family dynamic. Like, ew.
Yeah. Yeah. That's,
yeah.
Well, and Nina, Sonny's not biologically Michael's dad, but he's Michael's dad. So then Nina has now been with Michael's dad and uncle.
Oh.
Ew.
Yeah. Alrighty.
I know people get on them about like expanding the cast sometimes, but like maybe we just need to like expand families. Like let's make some new families to get these people with some new people. Thanks.
I'm trying to think what else there was because everything did kind of connect. So we talked about
At least with all that, yeah.
The only Heather stuff would be that Trina then finally went to give back Ace's toy and was like, oh, hey, my mom's concerned about this Heather stuff. And Laura was like, well, what are your thoughts on it? I did talk to Heather. She doesn't want me to do it. Well, that was
after Laura had gone to see Heather, though. We didn't talk about that. Laura went to see Heather, and Heather told her, you need to leave me in here. I do not want to be back out in, the public. I can't promise that nothing would happen. And, she was so thankful that Laura brought her another picture of Ace. And she was like, if you can just promise me, come visit me, maybe bring a picture of Ace. And, there was something else that she said.
Take good care of Ace.
Yes. That's it. And she really doesn't want to be out because she broke down that she remembers killing those people, but doesn't remember the feelings that she was having attached to killing those people. And she can't for the life of her figure out why she did it. Like she's completely emotionally disconnected from whatever it was because she doesn't recognize that feeling.
Right.
Or not even that it's not like she can't identify. She's like, I don't even know how I felt when that was happening. How would I not know, or how would I know to not do that again?
Yeah.
If I didn't know what that feeling was, or if I can't remember what that feeling was, how would I know if it's coming again?
She's the next one that needs to come out with a book.
Yes.
Once she figures that out, that would be a good book.
Yes. Yeah, she wants to stay behind bars, but then yes, Trina went over and brought Ace back his little horsey.
Yeah, so Trina brought back the horsey and they got to talking, and then Trina brought up the fact that her mom's not happy about the Heather stuff, and Laura's like, well, actually I just went to see Heather and she said that she doesn't want let out. She feels like she's safe where she's at, and that way she knows she won't do any other crimes, and asked Trina how she felt about it, and Trina was like, actually I think that if the poisoning is what caused her to be the way that she was, that she does deserve a new trial. I think that everyone is entitled to go through our justice system, and whatever they decide, that's justice. So she should have the chance just like anyone else. So it's going to be interesting. As much as I don't want to hear Portia whine about it, it's going to be interesting to hear that conversation where Trina's like, Mom, you're saying she can't be let out because I'm in danger. But I think that if they deem that she's okay enough to be out, then she should be out.
Right.
So,
yeah, that's going to be a dividing line between Portia and Trina. And Trina's not a child. Trina is
right.
A young adult, but she's an adult. She was an adult when these things were happening to her. So she understands what was happening. It's not like she was a child when these things happened and didn't fully understand the situation and now is putting herself in a position that is questionable. She's fully aware of the exact enormity of the entire thing.
Yes. Oh, and I liked that Laura said, oh, I was at the Quartermaines. I didn't see you, though. I thought you would be there. And she was like, yeah, I just wanted to stay out of that political stuff. I'll know what I think about things on my own when it comes time to vote. I don't need to hear it like pounded into my head that vote for Drew. Like, I'll figure it out.
Exactly. If we could just spend the next 4 months that way, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm. And then I don't think there was anything.
Oh, yeah. Scott and Ava, Sonny, the pharmacist.
I was going to say anything else from the picnic. I don't think anything else tied into the picnic.
No, I think that's everything with like Mac and Cody and Nina and all that stuff.
Right.
And Drew and Willow. And
Ava and Sonny is pretty much the same stuff that they've been going around and around on for all these weeks. It's just now the paperwork is actually filed. And Ava went to the pharmacist and was like, listen, you're going to cut this dose down to nothing. You don't think that guy's going to call Valentin and be like, hey, Ava said cut it down to nothing? Not saying that Valentin's not going to be like, yeah, that's great. Go ahead and do that because now I can blame it on Ava when something bad happens.
Right.
But Ava is overly confident that she's the more important person for the pharmacist to be pleasing than whoever he's actually working for.
Well, so Valentin and the pharmacist are connected?
Yeah, remember that was how
how did that happen that Valentin and Ava both picked the same pharmacist?
Because
to target for the same reason without talking to each other.
Because Ava knew who the pharmacist was based on what the label said.
Right. But then Valentin,
Valentin.
That's what I'm trying to picture it, like figure out is Ava knew that, but it's not like Valentin mentioned to Ava, oh, he shouldn't mess with his meds or something. And then Ava got it in her head to go do that. Like he and Ava have never discussed anything. So they're both working with this pharmacist from the same angle, but two different angles, but not together.
Right.
That's just weird. It's just weird.
Well, I think they're both evil and had the same idea of messing with his meds. We know that Ava's done that in the past with Morgan. So Valentin went to the pharmacist that had been filling Sonny's prescription and was like, hey, you're going to drop the dose down. And then Ava saw it written on the medical bottle and was like, hey, if you were willing to drop the dosage, you're now going to drop it to 0.
Right.
But like I said, I still think she's overly confident. I would not assume that I was the more powerful person that the pharmacist is answering to.
But she probably has no idea that the pharmacist is even answering to anyone. So she does think that she's the more powerful one.
Why would he drop Sonny's dose for no reason if he wasn't working for someone?
Because she thinks that he's working for her. Because Ava thinks that the pharmacist is only working for her.
No, because Ava didn't ask for the original dosage to go down. Remember, she thought Sonny was acting weird, so she took
right. Okay, yeah. So
and did an independent study, and then went to the pharmacist. I'm sorry. No, you're fine. I just want to make sure I wasn't missing together. I'm like, no, she did the independent study and then went to the pharmacist and was like, I know that you're doing the dose lower than what it should be.
That's
Why?
Right.
I want you to keep doing it or whatever.
That's right.
So,
I'm sorry.
So yeah.
Well, then that also explains your question last week about, well, if Ava's moved out, how has Sonny not been taking the correct dosage? Because she's not the one. It is Valentin.
Right.
So that's how, because I think you asked that last week, like, how's he still doing this? Wouldn't he have had a refill by now? He would, but if Ava's not really the one that's in control of his meds, then it's Valentin. So that's how he's not accidentally gone back to the correct dose.
Right.
Okay.
I remember talking about that last week, but I can't remember like exactly on my question.
No, that was your exact question, because you're like, shouldn't he have had a refill by now? And then we discussed, oh, maybe he has like a 3-month dose or whatever, but it has nothing to do with Ava.
Right. Yeah, it was Valentin that started it. Okay.
Yep. Okay. See, I forgot that this week. So, but so like Scott came to Ava with papers and he's like, you're stupid. This is not going to work. And then Sonny went to pick up Donna from Carly and was like, can I count on you to take the stand? And she basically said, I don't feel like she said that she would really support him, but she would trash Ava.
Yeah, she didn't really, because Jason kind of interrupted them. So she didn't give an answer. He had then gone to Alexis and was like, hey, will you support me? And Alexis was like, I can take the stand all day and say that you love your daughters. There's not a doubt in my mind. But if they ask me about your business, no, I can't lie and say, oh, I feel like you're totally safe or whatever.
Exactly.
And then Ava was reaching for people to testify on her behalf because she asked John Cates if he would. And he's like, I don't really know anything about this. But they're both being stupid. Scott was like, how are you going to tell the court that you don't feel safe having Avery over there whenever you and Avery were living there up until a few weeks ago? And Alexis was like, how are you going to say that Avery can have no contact with Ava when you guys have shared custody for how many years now?
Right. And the only thing is, I mean, so Ava's been Ava. Ava's consistently been Ava. But there's going to be more witnesses admitting that Sonny's been off lately than whatever. But then Sonny shows up to Ava's, takes a page out of her playbook.
Yes.
Opens up, records the whole conversation where he threatens her. And then, I'm sorry, it's been over 30 years since Sonny ran the strip club, which was not illegal.
No.
People might have conflicting morality issues with it, but it's not illegal. The drug issue was. But
even then, when Karen went to the club, and I understand she was a minor at the time, so I'm not disputing that. But when Karen went to the club, she went to the club and wanted to strip to feel powerful. Sonny gave her the drugs originally like as a one-time dose to relax her, and then she liked the way that the drugs made her feel. He wasn't like, yes, he shouldn't have provided them. I'm not obviously going to stand up for the fact that he did, but it wasn't like he was like, I want you to strip, take these 3 pills. I want to sleep with you, take these pills, blah, blah, blah. He was drugging her. He wasn't drugging her. He was offering her drugs for the situation. You know what I mean? It's like whenever you hear, like, I know we haven't personally done it, but like whenever you hear other moms joke about like, oh, I could use a Xanax right now because I'm so like stressed out or whatever. And people we know have shared, not people we know, but people we know like in general have shared pills. It's not like, oh, I was drugging you when I handed you this Xanax. I was trying to calm you down because you said you were very stressed out and needed this pill. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yes, it was
do
wrong.
not give anyone else their medication.
Right. We don't share meds. But in this case, even though it was a very bad drug, it wasn't, he wasn't drugging her to get what he wanted. That was just a side effect of the drug. She went in there seeking the opportunity to strip.
Right.
Had the curiosity about it.
Well, exactly. Like, it's not like he dragged her into the strip club and put her in a cage and took off her clothes.
Right.
And forced her to dance.
Right.
It was, he should have just given her a shot of alcohol, given her some whiskey, you know, but instead he gave her pills.
Right. And I mean, all of it is completely wrong because she was underage.
You also still shouldn't just, I'm like, you also shouldn't just give someone alcohol just to, but,
right. No, I'm absolutely not saying that he was blameless because he wasn't. But again, kind of like we're talking about, you know, Heather has changed because of this poisoning and stuff. People in general change with age. So Karen was a young girl, but he wasn't that much older than her. And he wouldn't make, I have faith that he wouldn't make those same choices tomorrow. If he opened a strip club tomorrow to make money, he would not hand young girls drugs to get them.
He's changed his entire business around the fact that he has nothing to do with drugs because of what happened to Karen.
Right. So
and she didn't even die. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that she should have for him, but I mean, but it's not like she died. It was, he realized, oh my gosh, I should not be doing that. That's horrible. And didn't anymore. And he hasn't done it in over 30 years.
Right.
So then Ava brought that up to John. Oh, because then when Sonny was leaving, the door was open. John heard people yelling. So he came to see, is everyone okay? And then she starts asking about his background. Well, he keeps calling him Jagger.
Yes. I love it.
And he's like, well, Jagger, have you found anything on me yet? And blah, blah, blah. Oh, because he said the same thing to Jason when Jason was visiting Carly.
Yeah.
He was like, you and Jagger keep trying to find stuff on me. But he came in and said he wasn't surprised to see Sonny yelling at another one of his children's mothers. And Sonny asks, well, where's your son?
Right.
And then left. But then Ava invites John in for a drink and starts questioning things about Sonny from his past. And she's like, well, you must still feel bad about what he did to your late ex-wife.
She didn't say ex either. She said your late wife.
Late wife. Yep, you're right. Yep.
That it was not his wife at the time, because I won't say that it was old Jagger that cheated on her, but John cheated on her and they got divorced.
Yeah, because she should have used the phrase,
your child's mom even would have been more accurate, but not his wife.
She's not.
Oh, that's right. I always forget that.
It could have been, the late Karen, or, late Karen at the time was your girlfriend, like something around there. Like, that's when that happened. But then she also kind of brought up, so would you be willing to say that Sonny is not a good, because he said, I have ties to Port Charles, but I'm here for business. I'm not here to get stuck meddling in people's affairs and to get caught up in your custody battle. And she's like, well, would you just be willing to take the stand to basically say, like, he's really not fit to be around children given the stuff that
he did 30 years ago.
Right. Or that he wouldn't allow his own son around him and whatnot. And she's like, oh, you can give that information to my attorney, Scott Baldwin. Like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Do you know him? And John's like, I do know him.
Yeah. The whole thing is just dumb. Like, I really hope that they get to court quickly, and that the judge is like, both of you are being immature and stupid. I'm not changing this court order. We're keeping it how it is. Whoever has primary continues to have primary, and whoever has visitation continues to have visitation. Get out of my courtroom and quit trying to use your child to hurt each other.
Right. Well, and that's what Sonny was saying, telling people, Alexis or someone, that Ava is poisoning Avery against him. How?
Right.
Have we seen Avery not want to go with her dad? Have we seen...
Every time that she sees him, she runs up to him and is like, Daddy, blah, 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 blah. And the same thing with Ava. Like, Sonny hasn't said bad stuff about Ava to her either, because anytime that she shows up, we just saw at the pool last week or whenever that was, she's like, oh, hi, Mommy, blah, 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 blah. Now I'm going to go swim. Right.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I think the only other thing is that Brooklyn called Kristina and, oh no, there's two things. So 3 things. Oh, okay. Brooklyn called Kristina and Blaze and has scheduled a joint interview for them to not necessarily address what was talked about.
She was saying it wasn't an apology tour. She did not want them to apologize. She just wanted to give, for the people who haven't decided, she just wanted them to kind of open up about who they are and let those people kind of get to know them better so that they don't choose to be against them.
And they're not even going to address Natalia's comments, which I like that. I like that it's because I feel like that gives Blaze the opportunity to show that she doesn't believe the things that her mom said, and that she's also not going to publicly bash her mom.
Right.
Because I think that's what Brooklyn originally said to Kristina, and she was like, she's not going to publicly draw the line between her and her mom. Like, she's not going to do it. But that way it kind of keeps that clear, I guess, that no, nothing's going to get in our way. You know, this is what it is. But then Kristina goes to Alexis and Sonny and thanks them for, you know, her basically being as vocal as she is, but I feel like she's better at it. I guess. Oh, to stand up for herself, I guess. And then she doesn't want this situation to bring either of them any negative publicity. I really didn't even know what to say to that, because it's like, again, Sonny's an alleged mobster. Alexis has done her fair share of things.
Yep.
Kristina having an interview with her girlfriend is not going to bring either of them negative publicity.
No.
And then I think the only thing, Anna went to see Jason before deciding to go over to Valentin's and try to find that phone again. And Jason's like, well, I'm going to be parked a couple blocks away. And she's like, no, you're not. And he's like, you came back empty handed, but you wound up, you know, doing a little extra research. You know, I'm going to start tracking what Valentin's cooking.
Oh, yeah. We should have like dinner dates around what he's making.
Because he made caprese salad with sole. And I'm just like, oh,
that sounds delicious.
It does. But, you know, Anna just stops by, brings a bottle of wine, and one thing leads to another. He asks her again, have you thought about just leaving with me? And she's like, I can't picture you not being here, you know? And he's like, well, then don't let me disappear or something like that.
Right.
Oh, Anna. But then I think the only other thing was Liz showed up to Jason's and showed him the acceptance letter that Jake got for an art school in Barcelona.
Yes. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that. I feel like Jake's old enough to say, yes, I want a relationship with my dad, or I don't. But I don't feel like he should have any say in if Liz is going to take the money or not from Jason.
Yeah, because she mentioned that like she's already working on Cameron's and now Jake's, and then Aiden's not far behind. But is Jake being a responsible adult and looking into scholarships and grants and looking into how to finance it himself? Then he does. You know, if Liz needs help with her portion, fine. But if Jake wants to do the research on scholarships, grants, his own individual loans, Jason should go to him and talk to him about it. But then I can understand not wanting to be to feel like you're under somebody else's. Jason has never done this to him, but oftentimes people use money as a weapon where it's, well, I gave you this money, you owe me, blah, 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 blah. And Jason wouldn't do that to Jake, but that's, I think, what kind of Liz was getting at is that's great, but it's going to be Jake's decision.
It's fine if it is for Jake's financial responsibility, but I took it, Liz was like, oh, it's okay, you don't have to help. I already looked into how to take out loans, blah, 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 blah. Like she's adding to her burden. And if Jason wants to financially relieve her burden, then heck yeah. Like if one of my kids was like, no, you can't take money from dad because I'm mad at him and it's going to financially mess you up forever and ever, I would be like, you're totally being selfish. Like your dad has the money, he's offering the money, and you're his kid too. Of course, he should help pay for what you want to do.
Yes, fathers should absolutely help pay for college of their children. That is correct.
Yes,
that would be a nice financial relief from just the mom, because when they graduate high school, that does not end. But yes, no, trust me, I understand. But like, but you're right. If it's on Liz's portion, then yes, Liz should have a say. If it's on Jake's portion, it should be Jake's. But also, Jake needs to be a part of the conversation the whole way around.
Right. Yeah, no, they definitely need to bring it up to him, and that's fine. I just, the way I took it was Liz was like, oh, if Jake tells me no, then I'm not going to take your money, and I'll just go ahead and put myself in thousands and $1,000s of debt because Jake doesn't like it. And I'm like, no.
Well, and that's, I definitely understand where you're coming from with that. I did, because I wasn't really thinking that. I thought it was just more of a, there's going to be all these added things like with because what did he say? He said he thanked her for being a great mom, and not just to her, not to his own son, but to the boys.
Yep.
And
may have been the sexiest thing Jason's ever said.
Ever. But he said, you've been carrying the load for too long. Let me do this.
Yeah.
And she knows that he's good for that. Like she knows that but he's never not financially supported his kids. Obviously, when we thought he was dead twice, might have had some things there. I wonder if he has a will and the will paid out. Okay, so certain people because he came back and wanted to get back certain parts of his ELQ stock. But like life insurance wise, although Jason probably isn't really insurable, but would they have to repay that twice? Like,
I would think so, because it wasn't like he had amnesia and didn't know that he was who he was. Well, he was deceiving the system.
Yeah.
Maybe not the time that he was kidnapped, because he didn't have any control over that. But
I was thinking when he was patient 6.
Yeah, but the last time, I don't know, maybe the FBI wrote a letter to the insurance agency and was like, hey, listen, so you're going to get this claim, but he's not dead. He's like in the witness protection program or something. So just send this check along to his family, because we don't want to be committing insurance fraud.
There we go. Yes, because the government would absolutely never defraud anything.
That's correct.
All right. We're not getting into that. But yeah. Okay. Now I have so many questions about that whole thing, but I'm not going to look it up right now. Oh, but I did like that. We didn't see it, but Jake and Jason did go to the baseball game and they had a good time. And so because she said again, I'm glad to see that you are putting in the effort of building a relationship directly with them. Because she's like, I don't feel like she's had to repeat it, but she repeated it. I'm not forcing him to do anything. So
absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of wouldn't mind seeing Jason and Liz.
What?
I wouldn't, because I feel like they're reconnecting on a friendship and a parent level, not just hormones. So and I mean, they've always been good friends. They've always been, I didn't mean that like that was their entire relationship. Just, it was always this is a clear path for them. Neither of them are tied to anyone else. It's not them struggling with their heart for one person or another. It's no, hey, we're both here, and clear-headed. It'll be interesting to see where this goes. So what's your
reality check?
Reality check. Did you have any ex-baby daddies come back from the dead and offer to pay for college, or ex-lovers making out with your daughters? That's gross.
Ew, no.
Well, good. So you had a better week than General Hospital.
I mean, I
Sorry.
wouldn't. I know all my baby daddies and their financial situations.
Can we just say both? Just say both.
Both, all, whatever. I don't care.
Okay.
Both of them. But I mean, I kind of wish there was a secret one that wanted to give me some money because I would be like, sure, here's my routing number. No, it was a pretty.
The routing number belongs to the bank. Your account number belongs to you.
Well, I would provide them with both.
Here's my Venmo. Just give me my Venmo.
Just Zell me. You have my phone number.
Right.
Anyway, so no, nothing exciting like that happened. Oh my goodness, what happened? Oh, I had to take Megan to yet another doctor appointment, and the doctor walked in, and you know how they're always like, "Oh, hi" to your kid, and then they turn to you and they're like, "You must be mom," blah blah blah. Well, she walked in and she was like, "Hi, Megan," blah 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 blah, and then turned to me and was like, "And you must be," and like stopped dead in her tracks and didn't finish her sentence, and I was like, Mom, but I wanted to say, I really hope that you were thinking like older sister or something. And Megan was like, no, she was probably thinking grandma. And I was like, shut up, do not say that. So I was mad that the physician did not finish her sentence, but still more testing on Megan trying to figure out what is wrong with her, and still no more answers as far as the blood pressure goes. So that was not fun, but rolling more stuff out as every week we do. And then Emily officially enrolled in cosmetology school. So in 9 months, she'll be able to help us get even more beautiful than we already are. So that's exciting. She's excited.
That's awesome.
And yes. I'm excited. I'm excited for her. Like, she seems like she took the time to decide. She didn't rush into it. We had many conversations about the financial side of it. And like, are you sure? Like, you don't just get out of beauty school and then get a job at like the top end salon making tons and tons of money. You still have to like work your way through and learn some more tricks of the trade and stuff before you get to make what, Google says you'll make or whatever. And she understood all that and stuff. So I'm excited for her. And then Madeline has decided to take her bracelet business onto Etsy and is making some bracelets that she's been selling. She bought like cute little bags for them and little stickers that she's including with them, and cute little mailers with stickers that to put on the outside that say thank you for supporting my small business. And she had someone local place an order, and then that person like raved about how cute it was. And so one of this lady's friends from New York placed an order. So we get to ship our first order out. And so yeah, I told her that I would probably put the link on our page in case someone wanted to get a bracelet, make some future Mrs. Corinthos bracelets or something.
Yeah, send it over. We'll put it in the show notes.
But yeah, so she's excited just because she has like all the things to do it. So she's becoming her own little business owner.
I love it.
Yes. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Friday was my sister and brother-in-law's birthday. And they went to New York City for the weekend, though, so I didn't get to see them yet. Happy birthday, Val, but I guess we'll celebrate later.
Happy birthday, Val.
So how about you? Any
my daughter started another one of those career experience programs this week, so lots of running around for that. I had the pleasure of writing 3 pages of corrections to 19-page report, and most of it is things that should have been. She sat on the 4-hour-long assessment last week, did not contribute at all, but did not make any changes based on the information that was given during the 4-hour-long assessment. So there's that, or changes that have come since the last one that I'm like, okay. So
are you sure that she knows what her job is? Do you want me to like call her up and be like, hey?
Oh, they don't. And the worst part is I have to keep asking for updates. And so we just found out that one of the things that she's supposedly been working on for the past few months, the company changed their website and her credentials no longer worked. I just asked for an update since March. So now they have to redo it. They have to resubmit because because it's been since March, and I don't know. I know that things take time.
Right.
But I should not have to keep following up. I don't know.
No.
I really wish these people made commission. That way they could understand having to keep track of things.
Right.
But no, I really kind of feel like it's just been a long week. Last night, it wasn't this past Christmas, but the prior Christmas, we got like an outdoor projector and like an outdoor blow up movie screen type thing. And we finally set that up. And so the kids are at their dad's for the weekend. And so Erica, JD, and we tried to do it in the pool to watch our first movie, Back to the Beach, which is like my favorite movie. But it got too cold. It was still like 90 degrees, but it just was not warm enough to be still in the pool at like 9 when it started. When it got dark enough for us to watch. So we at least sat poolside to do that. So
nice.
Yeah, that was fun. I really think that's it. I really do. I sat by the pool and watched a movie. Yay.
Hey, those relaxing weeks are the best weeks ever. So
they are. Well, it wasn't relaxing. I was just running back and forth a lot. So yeah, join us on Thursday as we finish up Lila.
Have a good week.
And we'll meet at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review. And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.